What is going on, guys? Today we got you guys episode number 5 of the SlowBroz podcast. I'm NicZombies, and I am with my co-host Mike. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well, man. Really excited to get podcast 5 going. We've had some pretty insane support on the last 4. So let's keep it up, boys. Drop a like, subscribe, and let's keep this going.
Yep, make sure you check out our links at the bottom of the description to both Mike's channels, my channels, as well as to our Anchor and Spotify. You can support us there. But yeah, we will just get into the first topic since we do not have a guest. Firstly, we will be talking about Obey Undead. Just briefly, just giving some more, I guess, kind of updates on Obey Undead. So, yesterday, January 16th, Turbo did a live stream where he had Greg as a guest, and so Greg mentioned a couple things about Obey Undead. Um, first, first thing, the top 25 submissions is closed, so everyone that was in the top 50 submitted their videos to try and get into top 25. Those are all up on their YouTube channels. You can probably go find them. The top 25 will be announced on January 23rd. So our next episode, we won't be talking about because we'll most likely have a guest. But the next episode was just us two. We'll talk about top 25
Mm-hmm.
as well as the challenge because the next challenge for the top 25 to get into top 10 will be released on January 30th, I believe. And then once we get down to the top 10, they're going to actually release it one day at a time, just like what I mentioned a few podcasts ago, kind of like how Phase 5 did it. I think that's sick.
Mm.
That's bravo. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them.
Yeah, I hope that the top 25 will be a little bit more creative than the top 50 because as we know, the top 50 was just a screen with names on it. Like, I'm not expecting anything super extravagant for the top 25, but maybe at least a little slideshow with like a profile picture and the name for each person. I don't think that would be too bad, and it'll just add a little bit more suspense so we could see names one at a time on the video instead of just seeing them all at once and just like searching, is my name there, is my name there. But yeah, as
Yeah,
you
no,
get,
and it's only 25 people too, so
yeah,
yeah, you imagine it could not be that hard.
yeah, and I'm in the Obey and Discord server obviously because I'm in the top 50, and they said that right now they've already watched all the submission videos, so they've watched all of them, and we have to wait another, oh, what is it, 8 days or so? Yeah, the 23rd from the 15th, 8 days from the time that the submissions closed until they're releasing the results. So I think this shows that these videos have to be pretty solid. Like, there's a lot of competition, and they told us in the server that there's a lot of good videos and it's going to be pretty difficult for them to choose. So I'm a little bit more nervous than I was before. I thought at the start that it was going to be like really easy to get in the top 25 and everything, but according to Grizzly, Greg, and MC, it's pretty competitive. So we're going to have to see what happens.
Yeah, we will see if the homie Big Mike gets into the top 25 or if he will choke.
Will I be Obey Big Mike? Who knows? We'll see in a few weeks, man.
Yeah, so just for anyone that's like supporting anyone in the Bay, keep on supporting them, especially if they get into top 25. And for people, I guess waiting, you probably already know since you're the server, but yeah, that'll be announced on the 23rd. So yeah, like I said earlier, we won't talk about next episode, but the following episode we'll probably be able to talk about top 25
Mm-hmm.
as well as the challenge, and hopefully that next challenge is like a really good challenge. Honestly, I don't know about you, Mike, but I was kind of disappointed with this challenge. Like the whole highlight thing. I don't know. I don't
So
know what I was necessarily expecting, but
I think I like it. I mean, it was a really easy video for me to make, so I liked it, and it seems like people took it differently. Like, not everybody did the same thing. I did just a compilation of my PBs pretty much, and some other people like talked over their gameplay, and like Stealth, he kind of explained his progression with high rounds, which was really really cool to see. So I like that because everybody did like their own little thing, but what were you expecting, Nick? Like, what kind of challenge do you think they could have done? Because I really don't know. It's
well,
really
I don't know.
difficult.
Like I said, I don't know what I was expecting, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like the only reason why I say that is, I mean, I haven't watched everyone's videos. I have watched a few of the
Mm-hmm.
top 25 submissions.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's just like for different people, it's easier to make like highlights and stuff, and like for other people, it's harder. Like yeah, like for someone that's skilled like you, Stealth, and like Kooky, you just make like a highlight of like like your best
Mm-hmm.
like times, high rounds, PBs, right?
Yeah.
But like think about someone that's like a content creator. Like, what do you like necessarily highlight? Like,
Yeah, I guess it's more of a stream highlights funny moments thing, I guess. But
Yeah,
but that's kind of weird though, because this is meant to be a competitive zombies team, and asking people to do their like stream highlights funny moments would be a kind of a weird answer to a competitive zombie team challenge. But I mean, it's what they asked for. They didn't say specifically that it could only be zombies wise. Like for content creators, they said that it could be your top 5 moments from your stream or anything like that.
yeah,
I think what they did with the round one was obviously what they should do. Like, a little introduction to the person, ask them why they want to be an Undead, why they should be in it, all that kind of stuff. So I think that was good. And then for this one, they already know us a little bit, so they want to see the best of us. But I have no idea what they can do for the third challenge. Maybe that would be interesting if they had some sort of specific map challenge. Like if they had some Cold War challenge, who could get the highest round or anything like that.
uh,
I wouldn't necessarily think that's the best option, but that would be interesting. But do you have any ideas like what they possibly could do for the third challenge?
well, this just maybe came into my head
Mm-hmm.
since they're not necessarily like focusing on world records, but like they do kind of have like an emphasis on it.
Mm-hmm.
What if maybe the third challenge is like try and get a world record, or like try and
Ooh.
get like a really good record, or like
Oh,
have like your best zombies game of all time. Like do your best in zombies, post your best game. Like they'll give you like a few weeks to post your best game of like what you did.
dude, that would be an amazing challenge. Like
That would be sick.
pick a game, pick a map, pick whatever category,
Yep.
and grind your ass off. I think that would be super cool.
Yeah.
But the only thing is the people that don't really go for world records on the team, maybe they would have some sort of alternate challenge for like the content creators, make the best piece of content you can possibly make, something like that. But it would really cause a separation there between the high rounders slash like competitive players and the content creators, because their videos would be completely different if it was something like that.
Well, the content creators could go for world record. I mean, so like, like for you,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know like what you would do, but like I think you would probably like try and like hire on a map like you're comfortable on, or like egg spoon on like a map you're comfortable on.
Mm-hmm.
But like maybe for like a content creator, you could take like a record like out of like the blue and like do something like maybe like a no perks, or
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like a
something.
no power, something that's like not like as many people play, so it's not as competitive and
Mm-hmm.
it's more doable.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but that's definitely a good idea, Nick. So I hope that they do something like that for the next challenge, but I guess we'll have to wait until January 30th to see. So
Yep, we
yeah.
will see then.
Yeah, and good luck to everybody that's in the top 50 right now for the top 25. I wish you all the best, and let's see what happens, boys. Okay.
Yep,
Our next topic is going to be the new Cold War content that got released.
Mike's favorite game.
So if you guys watched our previous podcast, you know that I do not like Cold War zombies at all. We basically spent the whole podcast shitting on the game and saying like why it's bad. And Nick, how do you feel about Cold War?
I expected more. I don't
Okay.
think it's as terrible as people make it out to be, but
Hmm.
it's still not the best.
Okay. So we both like kind of gave up on Cold War already with streaming and just playing it in general. And then they came out with this Firebase Z announcement. So we were
It came out of
expecting,
nowhere.
yeah, we were expecting a map late February, but then they're telling us that we're getting the Firebase Z map at February 4th, which is good news for the community because it's already been a long ass time. D Machine is dead. A bunch of people gave up. And I think this is definitely bringing back some more eyes to the zombies community. Before it was all Warzone multiplayer stuff with Cold War, but now it seems like towards the end of this season or whatever it is, like people are focusing on zombies. There's a lot of zombies news and people are getting excited about it. So I think that's good for the community in general. Maybe they can bring in some more players with this Firebase Z map. Also, because it's free, which this is like the first zombies game with COD that's
First
ever been
ever
free.
DLC map to be free.
Yeah, that's insane. Are they making D Machine free also?
Weird.
Or
Well, like, well, no. I mean, like, you have to buy the game, but you don't have to buy like a season pass or anything.
oh, wait, so I thought it was that they were making zombies free in general.
No, where'd you get that?
I don't know, man. I read it somewhere
No,
on Twitter.
no. What you're thinking of is this week for 115 day they made zombies free.
Oh,
So
maybe
like
that.
you can download Cold War and play zombies, but it's only this week. That ends on the 21st or something like that.
Okay. I think I thought I heard Greg or Turbo say something about it on that podcast yesterday, but I could be wrong.
I don't
I
think so.
I could be mistaken. But so there's a new perk returning. Nick, you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so on February 4th there'll actually be a decent amount of content for Cold War, the biggest content drop yet. So on top of the new map, there's a couple notable things. One, we're actually getting a new perk, Tombstone. We're not stuck with the shitty 6 perks. So the interesting thing about Tombstone, after reading their blog post, um, Tombstone is like, from what I've read, is essentially like Tombstone and Who's Who combined into one perk. After you get all like, your crystal upgrades or
Mhm.
whatever that is. So, I mean, yeah, like like you go down and like when you go down, you go into like a shadow in the dark ether they call it, but that's like Who's Who, right?
Yeah.
Like where like you're like
Hmm.
you have to like revive yourself. Like you spawn in with weapons,
Okay.
which is pretty good. I That was one critique I have of Who's Who. I don't know about you, but like with Who's Who, like yeah, spawn with like 1911, you can't do shit.
Yeah.
But if you actually spawn in with like a weapon, you can maybe do something, and
Do you
revive
have
yourself.
perks when you spawn in with the Who's Who thing?
Ooh,
Because I know
I don't think you do.
In Black Ops 2, you spawn in with an M1911 and no perks. So if you don't
Yeah.
have insane movement and zombie skills, you're kind of fucked. Or if you're on a high
Mhm.
round, you're also fucked. So it's nice to see that they're doing changes with weapons and stuff. But in Cold War with the mechanics, you're pretty much dead by dogs or something if you don't have any perks or any armor like that. So
Yeah, but you have a weapon to kill the dog,
yeah, I guess so.
and then like yeah, you could like train the zombies
Mm-hmm.
and then revive yourself. Also, a couple things. So normally when you're in like this mode, you can't regenerate health, but if you
Mm-hmm.
do one upgrade will make you regenerate health. If you do
Okay.
two upgrades with the crystals, your down duration increases to 60 seconds instead of what is it normally like 30, 45?
So are you
Something
saying
like that.
like the time once you go down, the time you have to
Yeah,
revive
like
yourself?
yeah.
Okay. Oh, and also time if like bleed out time if you're playing co-op, that would be
Yeah.
affected too. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
30 seconds. I think it's 30 seconds before.
Yeah.
So that's a
And
good upgrade.
then the third upgrade is what Tombstone originally did. So if you fully bleed out, like you die, you can't revive yourself.
Hmm.
You have like a little tombstone drop, and when you pick it up, you have your weapons, equipment, and resources. They say.
So is that if you revive yourself or is that if you
No,
bleed
so that's
out?
well, like if you revive yourself, yeah, you obviously keep everything
Hmm.
besides probably like the perks that you lose.
Yeah.
Um, but like when you like fully upgrade like the perk, it literally like is tombstone. So it's like if you fully bleed out, there's that like tombstone like
Okay.
power up, and then
Hmm.
when you pick it up, you get your stuff.
That is going to be super useful because I remember we were playing D Machine together co op and I bled out on the high rounds and it was just a cycle of downs. Like we literally had no chance for me to do anything because I would just instantly down from dogs or from the zombies. I would have no weapons, nothing like that. So I was just completely screwed. But if we had Tombstone, then I could get up, I would have my perks, some weapons, and I'd be able to survive and keep going. So this does
Yep.
seem like a pretty important perk, and I think it would be very, very useful in co-op.
Yeah, yeah, especially like in co-op, like like
Hmm.
if you somehow like mess up, bleed out, your teammate can play it safe, not res you, and then yeah, you just run over little drop.
So how does this have to do with the self revive system? Like, if you don't have a self revive and you have Tombstone, you can just revive
Well,
yourself.
well, okay. If you don't have self revive, but you
Mm-hmm.
have Tombstone, it'll
Mm-hmm.
put you into like the Who's Who mode. You can go revive yourself.
Yes.
But you do bring up a good point. What if you do have like let's say on co-op, you have a
Mm-hmm.
self revive and you have Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
Which one does it prioritize?
Yeah, I really don't know. Do you know if they discussed that in any of the?
They didn't say anything about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. The thing is that if they prioritize like that Who's Who, Dark Ether mode, whatever, over
Mm-hmm.
the self revive,
Mm-hmm.
that's actually worse. Like I'd rather just self revive myself on the spot
Mm-hmm.
than go into Who's Who with no perks and then try and revive
Yeah.
myself. You know.
Yeah, I think. Do you remember in BO2 if you have QR and Who's Who, what does it prioritize?
I
I think it brings you into Who's Who.
I think it brings it to Who's Who as well.
So I wonder if they're gonna keep those mechanics like that because
Oh,
QR is essentially a self revive.
imagine if they did that on solo too. Wait, then that would Treyarch. What do you think? No, they have to learn from it. No, they have to learn from it because if they do the exact same in BO2, so yeah, I don't fully remember Die Rise Soul, but yeah, let's
Mm-hmm.
say if you were solo Die Rise,
Mm-hmm.
you're on Who's Who, it prioritizes Who's Who, and then you go into Who's Who, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're pretty much not gonna revive yourself
Yeah.
because like it's really hard unless like you have insane movement, you somehow you know
Mm-hmm.
because you just bomb with like 911. If they do that in solo, that would also be pretty stupid. Because like you just have like a self revive, you can self revive yourself, but then it puts you to Who's Who, and then that could probably just kill you.
Yeah. But they could also make it an option like if you have who or Tombstone slash Who's Who, you can't get a self revive, or if you have a self revive, you can't get Tombstone slash Who's Who. I feel like that would make more sense, making a choice between those
Yeah,
two, because having
I
both would be kind of weird and it would contradict itself. I
how
don't
would
know.
you like code that into like yeah, you'd have to code into like the game like if you have you can't buy the perk, but like how
I
that would
mean,
be weird.
it's just like if you have a, let's say you're playing co-op Rev and you have a T gun, you can't get the apothecant from the box. I mean, I feel like that's a
Yeah, but
similar,
that's more simple because that's just like wonder weapons.
yeah. But I
Like
mean, they could just always. I don't think it would be that difficult. Like if you have a self revive, then Who's Who is going to be grayed out, and if you have Who's Who, then a self revive is going to be grayed out when you try to purchase it. But
yeah, that would be really smart. Hopefully they actually think about this and
mm-hmm,
not just kind of put into the game and just code it like Tombstone over everything, because
mm-hmm.
then that puts Tombstone over self res, and then yeah, you literally have the issue from BO2 all over.
Yeah. Does it count as a down still?
Yeah, why
Oh,
wouldn't it? You went down.
I have no idea.
Now the thing is that if you die in like your Who's Who Dark Ether mode,
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be 2 downs.
Will
So
that be
now
GG?
you're just running up your down count. What?
Will that, if you had a self revive and you downed, but you also had Who's Who, then you're in Who's Who mode, and then you down in Who's Who mode.
Do you have a self revive?
Yeah, what the fuck? It's so confusing, dude. I guess we'll have to wait and see how this actually plays out. I'm interested. I might have to hop on Cold War and try this Firebase C map and see how it goes. But I still think that with the way Cold War mechanics are, how it's based around camping with the health cap and Ring of Fire and all that kind of stuff, and the ammo boxes, I think that Firebase C is still going to be a camping map. They're going to find some place to camp. And also, if there's a wonder weapon that's even a little bit more powerful or better than the die, you know it's going to be a camping strat because people can literally just sit at the ammo box and spam. Like if you thought, like if you have a T gun and you're sitting by an ammo box, you can infinitely spam the T gun and get more ammo. If you have the WAF, you can do the same thing. So I think they need to be very careful with the wonder weapons, or else the game will just be broken and it'll have
Yeah.
no replayability whatsoever. Do you,
Yeah, and also just like the way like the zombies works and everything. Like yeah, like the way they path, the way they just work.
Hmm.
It could be very campy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think it has potential to be replayable? Like, what aspects of are you gonna try the Easter egg? You can try high rounds. Or you just not gonna play it at all?
No, of course I'm gonna play. I'm gonna try it. Hopefully the egg is good because that
Mm-hmm.
could add a lot of replayability if
Mm-hmm.
the egg is good.
Mm-hmm.
High rounds, I'm hoping, but if it's anything like D Machine, I'll play it for maybe a week or two and then kind of give up. Which I mean, that's like the worst thing about zombies. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like also hearing this on Turbo's podcast with Greg,
Mm-hmm.
but like, yeah, a lot of maps just have like a lifespan of like 2 weeks, and then you're kind of just bored of it. So hopefully it can last more than 2 weeks. I don't know.
I really hope so. I hope that D Machine was just a way to draw people into the zombies community, the casuals, or
Yep.
like not casuals even, the people who hadn't played zombies before. They brought an easy map that was accessible to everyone. It wasn't too difficult to set up. The Easter egg was easy. Everybody could do it. Maybe that was their way of bringing people in. And with this Firebase Z, they're going to crank it up a little bit, give you more of a typical zombies experience, make it a little bit more difficult, make the Easter egg more complex. And since these people are already interested in zombies from D Machine, maybe they're more willing to stay with a more complex map because they're actually used to the game now.
Hopefully that would be like just a 200 IQ move from Treyarch to make zombies like the biggest thing like it's ever
Yeah.
been. But is that the way Treyarch is thinking, or is Treyarch thinking, oh hey, we should carry the game more towards the casuals? Because I mean that's just like always how like Call of Duty has been. They've always tried to cater towards casuals. So there's
Hmm.
every aspect of Call of Duty. So
I don't I don't think BO4 Zombies was catered towards casuals. Like BO4 Zombies was not super difficult by any means. Like it was all like Hellion camping, but setting up on BO4 was not for casuals. Definitely not. Like you had
you
to
don't think
watch,
so?
didn't you have to watch like an in-depth tutorial to learn how to like build the shield
Oh
and learn how to
well.
craft the wonder weapon and all this kind of stuff if you actually want to get a game going?
Well, no. I agree. No, that was stupid. I'm just like more so talking like base mechanics, like your health, your guns, your stuff like that. Because remember in BO4, I mean, yeah, you didn't have Jug, but you had 200 health, so your early game was super easy, right? Like
Yeah.
it's almost like you spawn in with Jug.
Hmm.
Uh, you spawn in with an OP specialist. You don't have to do any special tasks for it.
True.
The zombies, like there's health cap.
Yeah, but they do
Uh,
the zombies do hit very fast on BO4 once you get to like max spawns and they run fast as hell. Like I think they're super sprinters on BO4. I'm pretty sure they're super sprinters. I could
I
be
honestly
wrong.
don't remember.
Yeah, but I don't think it was because obviously we saw that Cold War was catered towards casuals because so many people were playing it. With BO4, I don't think we saw any big streamers that didn't originally play zombies get on BO4. And obviously
Oh no.
it didn't hold people. It didn't bring new people and hold them there. I don't think many people played BO4 zombies as their first zombies and kept on playing it and stayed in the community.
Well, that's not entirely like what happened with Cold War because the thing with like BO4 is that Call of Duty wasn't really at like a high point,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like Call of Duty was like kind of like low. There wasn't any Warzone that like brought people. Like
Mm-hmm.
back then, like none of the big streamers really played just Call of Duty in general, let alone
Yeah.
zombies. The thing is that Warzone brought in more people to Call of Duty, like a lot larger audience, and
Mm-hmm.
then that brought some people over to Cold War, including like other streamers and stuff. Like I bet you if there was no Warzone, you know, I don't think like Tfue would have been caught playing zombies with MC. I don't think that happens if there's no Warzone. But because of Warzone, Tfue got into Warzone, and then there was Cold War. Tfue got in that, and like also Cold War. You'd have to pay for the game, but like everything like after you buy Cold War, everything being free, that helps, you
Yeah.
know? Like everything is free, you don't have to pay for anything after you pay for the $60 game. Everything is free. So
That's good.
that also helps like more people cuz the thing with BO4 is that you had to buy the game,
Mm-hmm.
you had to buy the $50 um Black Ops pass in order to even
Yeah.
get access to the other maps, and then also Call of Duty was just at a low. So
Yeah, but at least though in BO4, the maps may not have been great, but it did come with a lot of content. A BO4 launch on zombies had a fuck
Yeah,
ton of content.
but that was just like, see, in BO4's case, that was just an oversaturation of content. Like there was
Yes,
just like too much, and like it wasn't like as good. Like BO4 is a case of quality over quantity, and we saw
quantity
how
over
that would.
quality. Yeah, yeah.
Well, wait. Oh yeah, I butchered that.
Come on, bro.
Brain dead.
Yeah, there was more. They prioritized the amount of maps over the quality of the maps.
Yes,
So, but to be honest, I would rather have BO4 launched than Cold War. I'd rather have four
I
shitty
agree.
maps than one
A
kind.
half decent map.
Yeah.
Now, like, see if D Machine was like
Shadows
an
of Evil.
Origins.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'd rather take Origins over all the 4 maps, but I would
Yeah.
not take D Machine over the 4 maps, you know?
I 100% agree with that. Yeah. If they were gonna just have one map on launch, you better make it fucking good, and they
It's gotta
didn't.
be like one of the best maps to ever come out
Yeah.
because you spent a lot of time on that map.
Hmm. But yeah, they did not do that though.
That's actually very concerning to think about, is that out of all these maps, D Machine is probably the map they'll put the most time into,
What do you
and we
mean?
got that. Well, okay, well, like, the way I'm thinking of it is like,
Oh,
you always put more time into the launch maps compared to DLC maps.
correct. Yeah.
So if we got
Oh
D
god.
Machine with that,
Oh
what are we gonna
no.
get from Firebase Z? Oh no.
I'm fucking scared now that I think of it that way.
I wasn't even thinking about that until
Oh
now.
god, I fucking
Oh
hope
no.
I hope that they barely put any time on D Machine and they put in more time on Firebase
Mm,
Z, but
yep.
that's just wishful thinking and it's very unlikely.
That's not how it works. No, you always want your base map to be good because that leads people into it, and you
Hmm.
also want DLC one to be good.
Yeah.
But
All right.
yeah,
Well, let's hope for the best, man. I'll be trying it out. I've already given up on Cold War, but I'll probably try it out off stream. We'll see.
yep. Also, one last thing to add on Cold War news: the new Cranked mode is out.
Hmm.
Neither of us have played it, but from watching other people play, it looks like we kind of predicted it's one of those mode you play a few times. It's dead after a week.
Yeah.
Sucks, but expected.
Yeah, they probably just put it out to hold some people over a little bit until the next map
Yeah,
came out. Make them happy for a few days. But
a
it,
couple
it's
days.
yeah, it's
If
really
that.
not. It's not something that's gonna have a lot of replayability. I don't think. We'll see if they keep the mode for Firebase C. Maybe it'll be more fun on that map. Maybe they'll tweak some core mechanics to make it a little bit better. But I guess we will have to wait.
We'll have to wait and see.
All right, on to our next topic. I'm very excited about this one because, as you guys know, I am a BO1 fanboy and I love Riese. So, we're going to be talking about the Riese Gauntlet results. So, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, it was in December, there was the Riese Gauntlet going on. For you guys that don't know, in zombies, a gauntlet is basically a competition seeing who can get the highest round on a specific map in a set amount of time, and the winners will get some sort of cash prize. So there's an incentive to make money by winning, and there's also an incentive to get world record. With a lot of people playing the map at the same time, it's really competitive and it's nice, it's fun. So when we were talking about this before, in I think it was either the first or second episode, we were saying that the top players that we thought were gonna win were Niraj, Slayer, otherwise known as Sluya, and who else? It was Fleur. So I don't think Fleur ended up like getting a game going during the gauntlet period, so he was out of it. And then Niraj and Slayer both had some pretty insane games going, like faster than we've ever seen before. So, um, the winner of the Riese Gauntlet was Niraj, who died on 156, which was a dog round.
The way he died was very questionable. To say.
Yeah, it I don't think he should have died. I think there was some
Oh,
health glitch or something. I heard that Whatever he did, I think he leaned or something while trying to knife the dog, and the knife damaged himself. I heard something about that. I don't really know the mechanics of it, but
Oh
something
man.
happened. He died when he shouldn't have died on a dog round
Yep.
on insane pace on 156. And in that game, he ended up getting the 100 speed run, which is 6 hours and 8 minutes. And that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
That's insane.
It's
It's
a
almost sub 6, dude.
yeah, and I heard that if he got better dogs, he definitely would have gotten sub 6. Like I don't think he had 99. He didn't have 99 dogs, which 99 dogs is obviously the best dogs, but
Yeah.
and I think he was about 32 minutes or about 30 minutes or so faster than world record. So that 30 minutes for a 100 time is a really big deal. But um, yeah, people have been getting insanely fast at Riese, just improving the strats, getting very consistent. So it was really insane to see that 100 SR. I don't think anybody's gonna be able to beat that besides Slayer, to be honest. I
Yeah,
don't think it's
Slayer and maybe Niraj can beat his own 100 SR time if he
yeah.
got like better dogs, you know.
Yeah, I think Niraj can definitely beat it, but besides that,
Mhm.
maybe Fleur, but I haven't seen Fleur play out any 100 plus games in a while, unfortunately. All right, and Nick, do you want to talk about Slayer? What
Yeah.
happened with him?
We'll talk about Slayer's game. So, funnily enough, Slayer did a suicide on 155, one round, excuse me, less than Niraj. So Niraj only beat Slayer by 1 round.
Mhm.
And he quit out of his game because his trade average was god awful. He hit the box 400 or so times and only got 2 wafts. So that is a 200 trade average. For every 200 hits out of the box, he got 1 waft.
Yeah.
Which you might some people like don't play much B1 might be like, damn, but it's like a wonder weapon. It's not that hard to get the waft. And especially for when you're gonna play like a high game, you definitely want like a lower average.
Mhm.
Apparently, like a good average to have is like around like a 20 hit average or so.
Mhm.
So he was nowhere near the 20 average. His average was skyrocket high.
But yeah,
As well,
that
excuse
wasn't
me.
that wasn't his overall average. That was just his last two trades, like his
Yeah.
last two trades of the game.
Well, I
I
mean, but like so like his overall average like is nowhere near like 20. It's
oh
probably
yeah.
like with that, I bet it's like a 50 plus average,
Oh
which
yeah.
is insanely bad still. A 50
Yes.
average is terrible. You can maybe have like one like a bad trade is like like a 50 hit trade.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's like a pretty bad trade. Homie had a 200 hit trade.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Like probably set world record for worst trade on Riese.
Yeah, man, like the everybody says that the French have the best RNG, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I don't think the French have good RNG, man. It might be American RNG nowadays.
What? No, no,
Her
it's all about the idiot RNG now. All about the idiot RNG. I'll tell you this: if you ever want good RNG, change your in-game name to the Big Mike 24. You have idiot RNG, just straight up. You'll
Oh.
probably get like Wah first hit. If you're playing Reese, you'll get Ray Gun second box. You'll get Monkey sometimes between there. So
Oh my god,
yeah,
bro. Hey, I've been getting some bad RNG recently, so that must say I'm getting better at the game. I
debatable.
yeah, Jesus Christ, Nick. But
God damn it.
Slayer also got well, I was just looking at his tweet when he suicided. He got 12 5 rounders in a row.
That's
That
shit.
that's some big Mike Ascension 255 numbers right there. I don't even think I had fucking 12 5 rounders in a row. I had at least like 8 or 10, I think. Like I was on a really bad streak, but 12 in a row on a map that like really relies on these 4 rounders so you don't have to trade as much. Plus having such a shit trade average, man. Like I don't blame him for suiciding. Like he probably didn't have a chance to get record anymore, either due to box
Yeah.
error, like he would have had box error maybe before 246, or his times were a little bit slower than he expected. So he just got completely fucked by RNG, and I don't blame him for quitting out at that point. I really don't. But
Yeah.
he suicided before Niraj died. So
Mm,
if you're wondering why he suicided around before Niraj, it's because he did that. I think it was on the last day of the restart window. So he didn't have time to get another game going. He killed himself on the last day of the restart window. And then Niraj, I think a few days later, died on 156. So
yep.
it was very anticlimactic. Like
Yeah.
this, we were expecting 200 plus, 240 plus, new world record, but nobody even got to instas, man.
Yeah. Yeah. We were expecting one to get world record. I
Mm-hmm.
think I had Niraj getting world record. You had Slayer getting world record.
Mm-hmm.
Um, neither that happened. I was even talking to Soul
Mm-hmm.
like after we made that podcast, and so it was like, I think one of them will get record, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't even think one of them will get instas. And then like I think like the day after he said that, Slayer died or not died, suicided, and
Mm-hmm.
then Soul was like, I told you, and I was like, come on, bro. I was like, but hey, I still have Niraj getting world record, and then Niraj died on the dog round 156. So
Nah, this
yeah,
shows you
I
how.
was technically right though about Niraj winning. Technically right, by the way.
I guess so, Nick. I
Technically,
guess
he didn't
you're
get world
right.
record, but he won the gauntlet. I predict him to win.
Your boy
So
Niraj, you never talked to. He won. He
yeah,
won.
I lurk. I lurk.
Yeah.
I'm a lurking Larry.
Yeah, it shows you how fucking difficult Reese trade strat is. Like Slayer, top 3 zombies players of all time. He's in that top 3. Not sure where exactly, but he is definitely top 3. And RNG killed the game, man. RNG killed his game. I think he already had at least a down or 2 in that game also. So if the best zombies player of all time, one of the best zombies players of all time, can't even like get instas or 200 on a map after spending hours and hours grinding on it, like hundreds of hours, like it shows you how difficult this map is and how impressive Fleur's 246 is. And
Oh yeah.
also with Niraj, because Niraj is considered one of the best Reese players, and he already had used all his QRs. That's why his game ended on 156, I believe. But playing fast on Reese, playing as risky and fast as Slayer and Niraj do, it's super difficult to maintain that for 77, 78 hours. I think what the reset is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the only maps where they don't lock QR, I believe, because Reese is that difficult that it's not worth that extra reset time to not have those extra downs.
Yeah. Nobody's like that insane at Reese yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where like like they could lock a QR and like be okay. Like everyone's probably better off just playing with QR, even if that means low reset. You
Mm-hmm.
know. But
Yeah, I think
it's just worth it.
I think on most maps it's like 30 minutes or so extra for lock QR, and Reese it might be about an hour. But yeah, that hour extra is not worth it because you will most likely down at least like 2 times, maybe 3 in the whole game when you're playing trade strat. It's very risky and very fast.
Mhm. Even Mike can't do it. El Giggle.
I'm like, if we're gonna rank my BO or my high round ability out of 10 compared to people in the high round community, I'm definitely like a 2.5 or 3 out of 10. So no.
Yep, I'm a 1. El Giggle.
My you're better than a 1, Nick, you know. You're
1.5.
an Ascension BO3 world record holder, dude.
Stop. No, I'm not a world record holder.
World
I'm
record
not.
holder for slowest 255.
I'm not even the slowest 255.
Yeah, there's a guy with a 75-hour.
Yeah, so like, you know, I saved 10 hours, Kappa.
GG's, Nick, dude. Fucking speed
Let's
run right
go.
there. Speedy
Speedy
boy,
boy.
Nick.
Speedy boy.
Okay, boys. Our next topic, I'm also very excited about this one because it is BO1 also, but there is a new map and a new gauntlet out. So the Winter Wonderland, which was a World at War custom map that was released sometime last year. There was a gauntlet for it, and I think there were some issues with the map. The gauntlet kept getting extended. Not really sure who won it. I think it might have been Niraj, but it was on World at War. World at War mechanics are scuffed as fuck. So they decided that they were gonna port the map to BO1. Um, so 5 and 5, Wonderful, a bunch of other people, they worked on the map and they ported it over to BO1, where there's like more consistent mechanics and it's just a better place for high rounds. And they did a lot of things to it. This map pretty much has every change you could ever ask for in zombies on it. It's all
Yeah.
optimized for speed. It reduces as much RNG as possible, and it's basically just skill based. So, Nick, do you want to start going through the what is going on in this map? What makes it so special?
Yeah. So, also for those that are interested in playing this map or seeing all these patch notes, there will be a link in the description. Even if you're just a casual player, I definitely recommend giving this map a go because, I mean, I've never played the map yet, but just watching it on BO1 and World at War, it's super fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially like wonder weapon spam as well. There's like a lot of wonder weapons on the map, and yeah, it's a really quick map. So like, you know, if you're like casual, you can get like a quick game in. If you're, you know, a really good player, you could potentially have a long game. But yeah, so the patch notes are just a lot of the changes from World at War to BO1. So when we have general changes, 15-hour reset time, which is a very low reset time, but that means the map will be very competitive. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people can play a 15-hour game. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, some people could probably play a 15-hour game in like 1 to 2 days, you know. But even
Yeah.
if you don't have a lot of time, that's like what, like a 3 to 4 day game? Like that's still not even that much.
Mm-hmm.
So the Gauntlet will be very competitive, and this will be very reliant on just like how fast you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we might even see like some new like strats for how fast you play the map just to push it because like yeah, the reset is very, very low. That is a very low reset.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in comparison to like actual Treyarch maps, what even is the lowest reset? Origins?
Origins, it's not
Which
a
has a like a
25
well,
hour.
yeah, like 25 hours. Like we thought that was
Yeah. And like 15 hours really makes it so you can play super risky, and if you die 10 hours into the game, who cares? For
yep.
people playing high rounds, quitting or dying 10 hours in isn't that big of a deal. So they can play as risky as they want, and I think we're going to see some really impressive and fast rounds coming from people in this gauntlet.
Yeah, for sure. So, moving along with the changes, insta kill rounds start at round 115, as well as every other round after 115 will be an insta kill round. So that's
Mm-hmm.
just, you know, guaranteed. That also speeds it up even faster. For co-op, there's pausing just like BO4 and Cold War, so that's also super cool, more competitive. You know, you don't also have to rely on sleepers and you know ruining your reset and in some people's cases even die during the sleeper. I remember that one clip you sent me, Mike, of
Oh
that SNN
no.
co-op and they died during the sleeper.
Oh no, dude, I saw that. I felt so bad, dude.
I would too. Well, I did too. Not I would, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I DC'd during a sleeper once. I was playing with Ethan like sometime last year, like
Oh
around
no.
the time we met each other, and we were playing an Ascension co-op. We had a 66 on the map before, I believe, and then we were paused on 55 doing a sleeper. I know it's really early, only a couple hours in, but we were going to try a sleeper. And overnight, or we came back in the morning, I was just sitting by the computer watching it, trying to just make sure that it didn't fuck up. It was still rebuilding the barrier. And then all of a sudden, I see that I got disconnected. And
Oh.
yeah, fuck sleepers. All my homies hate sleepers, dude.
Yeah,
Co
so
op.
now you just pause game and hopefully don't get disconnected like Mike did in our co-op.
Dude, Nick, we should play Winter Wonderland together because we could pause. That'd actually be kind of sick.
That would be fun. I might be down for that.
Actually, good mechanics on co op where we can pause.
Hey,
Not Cold War bullshit. I'm down.
let's go. Well, yeah, there also won't be an update overnight. If
Yeah.
that helps.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Okay.
All right, so we'll continue with some of the patches. So the HUD, this is actually really big. So the timer is just on the screen,
Mm,
seconds per horde on the screen. Your drop tracker is just there, so it's very easy to like notice like your your drop cycle. You don't have to use a third party website to
Mhm.
track that, or just your brain slowly just in the game for you. Your trade average is there as well, which is sick. So you can see how good or shit your trades are. And so we'll move on to next section, the box. It's a lot easier to get the wonder weapons out of the box, like the waft, the thunder gun, the dolls, and the ray gun, as well as a bunch of like the animations are decreased. So like the thing about this map is that it's just like super fast. Like the animations compared to normal BO1 and the World at War version of Winter Wonderland, they're all just shortened. So it's like you pick up weapons out of the box like super fucking fast
Mhm.
and all that. The thing I can compare it to for like casual players is like time slip from BO4. Like if anyone's ever used that perk on BO4, I don't know why you would, but maybe to also the teddy bear increase minimum number of hit before a teddy bear from 4 to 5, so guaranteed 5 hits, and decreased probability of the box moving early, so that's nice as well. And then for weapons, they changed it a little bit with T guns and the WAF. So also just to say real quick, the wonder weapons in the map are T gun, Wonder Waff, Ray gun, and the dolls. The T gun and WAF pretty much just fail less. Um, it's faster to weapon swap. So yeah, you're very speedy on this map.
Mhm.
Um, there's even a ray gun wall buy that you can just buy. You don't even need to get out of the fucking box. And the dolls do infinite damage,
That's
which
a
is
pretty cool
insane.
change. Like dolls usually would crap out about round 80 or so on Ascension when you would use them. I don't know about Call of the Dead. I haven't played Call of the Dead, but yeah, so around round 80, the dolls would drop off and you wouldn't really be able to use them anymore. And being able to use these infinitely is pretty interesting for pushing drops. It's like having a Gersh device that doesn't
Yeah,
attract the zombies. So I think that's a cool change. So it's not just all relying on trades in the high rounds like something on Riese, because Riese you're not going to be able to kill the zombies and push drops like 70 plus. But on this map, instead of always having to trade, you can use your Matryoshka dolls and just keep playing faster, which is cool.
yeah, like you'll be able to push drops on any round
Hmm.
because they're infinite damage. As well as final thing for weapons, they removed the China Lake out of the box.
I was
Everyone loves to hear that.
Yeah, Nick didn't even want to include that in our discussion, but fuck the China Lake.
I
All
thought
my
I thought it was stupid. Well, yeah, fuck the China Lake, but like it's not a big change. That should just be a default thing. Get that shit out of here.
That's the biggest change in this whole map. Fuck the China
Yep.
Lake, dude. Fuck it. All
All
right.
right, so Mike, you want to carry over with the rest of the patch notes?
Yes, I will. So, next thing on this list is the insta kill rounds. We already talked about this a little bit, but the first insta kill round is going to be on round 115 instead of round 163. And for the people that don't know what insta kill rounds are, at a certain point, when the health keeps going up in the zombies, and at some point the health resets back to round one. So on World at War and BO1, besides Shinonuma and Darius, the insta kill rounds will start on round 163. So on round 163, you transition to a new type of strat, and you can basically one shot the zombies because they have round one health. So that, instead of starting on round 163, is going to be starting on round 115, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the lower reset. Obviously, if you have a 15-hour reset, you're probably not going to be getting to round 163. So having it on 115 allows people to experience these insta-kill strats, experiment with them, see what they can do, optimize them, and play as fast as they can on a much earlier round. So it's more accessible for a lot of people. And also, with maps that have boss rounds like dogs or monkeys or anything like that, they have these things called missed instas. So sometimes you'll get a dog round or a monkey round when you're supposed to have an insta kill round. And if you do that, it's just wasting time. You want to have the monkey rounds or the dog rounds on normal zombie rounds, because these insta kill rounds aren't every round. For example, let's say you had instas on 163 and then on 164 it's a normal round. It's faster if you get your dog round on 164, because you'll have the round will only be like 30 seconds to a minute, instead of being a, like, I don't know, it depends on the map, like an hour long round. But if you got it on 163, the dog round, the round would be 30 seconds to a minute instead of a much shorter round. So by having these dog rounds on normal rounds, it's much faster. And on this map, it completely eliminates that RNG with missed instas. The insta kill rounds are going to happen every other round after 115, and the dog rounds are every 4 rounds. So basically, you know exactly what dog rounds you have, you know exactly what insta kill rounds you're going to have. And it's going to be the same for everyone. So it reduces that RNG aspect, and it's going to make it more fair and solely based on skill. Okay. And like I talked about before, the dog rounds starts on round 5, and after that, it is every 4 rounds. And with perks, the perk limit is removed. So you can get every single perk on the map, and so you don't have to make any big decisions which 4 perks you're going to use.
Cold War Kappa.
BO4.
BO4 had a perk limit?
BO4, you had to pick the perks before, and you could only have 4, remember?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm saying Cold War has the
no perk limit? Or 6
Cold War
perks?
doesn't have perk limit.
Oh, that's right. But yeah, the perk limit's removed. And I think that's cool. And also, this is a big thing. This is a huge thing. Usually in BO1, double tap only improves your fire rate. But in Winter Wonderland, double tap does what it does in BO2, BO3. So instead of just increasing your fire rate, it increases your fire rate and doubles the damage. So it makes it so your bullet weapons are going to be able to do a lot more. And I think the instas will be a lot better too, because your bullet weapons are going to be doing more damage. Is there a pack punch machine on there?
What, Winter Wonderland?
Yeah.
I'm like 99% sure there is, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. That's weird.
I actually don't know now.
I don't know.
I'm 99% sure there is, but if there's not, now I look like a moron.
Okay. And our next, we only have a couple more like patch notes to go over, but the drop rate is increased from 2% to 2.5%. So, I mean, that's not a huge increase, but you're more likely to get drops, which is good for forcing drops on the lower rounds and also on the higher rounds when you have the dolls. And also, the drop rate is going to be increased after you kill 2 hordes and you don't get any drops. So, like on those maps like Riese, when you just keep on pushing drops and you get nothing, that's not going to happen as much. RNG is reduced and you're going to get drops more often, get those max ammos sooner, which is really nice. And I think one of the last most important things is they removed carpenters from the map and they removed fire sales. So you're going to have a 4 drop cycle, which means nuke, double points, insta-kill, and max ammo. So it's going to be very easy to track your cycle. And it's also going to be very easy to get those 4 drops every round to make sure you're keeping that perfect cycle. And lastly, the traps, they're going to be very useful on this map because it's 25 seconds activated and 25-second recharge. So you can activate these traps like in less than 30 seconds after you've done it before. And they're removing the shell shock when you run through the trap. So usually when you run through a trap, you're basically stuck and you can't run very fast. And it's very awkward. If there's zombies around you, you can die really easily. You just can't juke them. So they removed that on this map. And so that means you can run through these traps really well. You can utilize the traps a lot for the trade strat. And also PhD will give you immunity to the trap. So if you have PhD, you can just run through the trap, not take any damage. And I think this is going to be huge in the trade strat, because people are going to be pushing this with the 15-hour reset and this trap immunity. They're going to be dipping through these traps while they're hitting the box as much as possible. And I'm really, really excited to see what's going to happen with that. Okay, boys.
Yeah.
So this map, we just went over a bunch of stuff, a bunch of changes. This map is basically the perfect map. They changed everything
Very
on it.
close to perfect.
it. It's so small and simple, but all the mechanics are perfect. RNG is reduced, and it's just optimized for playing as fast as you can, and it's really going to bring out the skill in people. So, you guys want to play this? Link's going to be in the description. Make sure you guys go check it out. All you have to do to download it is download this thing called Game Mod, and then you drag this map into the mods folder. So it's really easy to download, and I truly think you guys are going to enjoy it. So, the rules for the Gauntlet, though, the rules are going to be a bit different than the Riese Gauntlet, and I think this is something that a lot of people were asking for because there's a lot of complaints on the Riese Gauntlet with the rules. Do you want to go over the rules, Nick?
Yeah, so two things will be allowed that were not allowed in the Reese Gauntlet, which
Mm-hmm.
is the Timbot as well as the Fast Ray, especially the macro.
Mm-hmm.
So what both of these are is the Timbot, and you can kind of help me here, Mike. But like it's basically kind of like a bot that just kind of like helps you just like kind of like tell you everything about your game,
Mm-hmm.
like your times, your dogs,
Mm-hmm.
um all that stuff. It's not like a crazy thing because the game itself kind of just tracks it already for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you already have like a timer in the game. You already know your dogs. Like the dogs are always like a 4 round.
Mm-hmm.
But the Timbot would be good to see like, oh, like what was your last dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and then so like you would add the 4 to that. So, um, yeah, as well as like the your drop cycle that's also in the game. I'm trying to think of what else could Timbot provide that the game already doesn't provide. At least Winter Wonderland.
So TIM stands for Twitch Integration Mod. Like a huge thing with TIM is that it will if people want to put in commands in your chat, it will answer their commands in the chat. So if they want to see your dogs, well, everybody's gonna know what the dogs are. But exclamation point dogs, it'll come up in the chat. Exclamation point times, your times will come up, and it completely reduces the effort needed to be put in for like on a lot of maps you're gonna have your mods do your dogs and your times, and it takes a lot of effort and it's annoying. But with Tim, it's just gonna be in chat whenever people are asking for it, because that's a huge thing in high round zombies. People are always gonna come in your chat, look at your dogs and look at your times, and see how you're
Yep.
playing. So Tim kind of makes that a lot easier on people, and it's good that they're allowing that.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
for macro fast ray though, on the Reese Gauntlet, they allowed fast ray, but it was only double bind fast ray or manual fast ray, whatever you call it. So you would change your bindings to do fast ray, but you could not bind a macro for fast shooting. But in this gauntlet, they're allowing macro fast ray, which it's faster with a macro and it's a lot easier and accessible for people to do. So I think that's important. A lot of people are asking either allow fast ray or don't allow it. Don't split it between macro or double bind. So um wonderful. I think he made the gauntlet. He listened to the community, chose that, and this gauntlet is looking pretty interesting. So if you guys want to participate in the gauntlet, there is a YouTube video. We'll link that in the description too. It has a trailer for the map and the rules for the gauntlet and all that stuff. So feel free to play in it. There is a cash prize if you're the winner, whoever gets the highest round. And if there's a tie, it's whoever gets the highest round fastest. So if you guys are planning on participating in the gauntlet, leave a comment down below. Tell us what your plans are, what strat you're going to use, all that kind of stuff. We're really interested to see that.
Hell yeah. All right, and so we will use this to transition to our final topic, which is a pretty beefy boy, I will say.
Oh, yes.
So we have just a general question: should fast ray be allowed? And we're not just talking about the Gauntlet. We are talking about just all of Call of Duty Zombies, BO1, BO2. I don't really think fast ray is a thing in World at War, but I don't even think it really matters in World at War if
Um,
it is.
I haven't seen people use it, but I'm sure it would be nice to have fast ray on Noct and
Yeah.
Noct because you use the ray gun, and Reese for pushing drops because you don't have Sally's, but you also have
Yeah,
doubles up.
low rounds knocked. Yeah, that'd be nice. I don't know why I was thinking like the actual high round strat. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so Mike kind of went into fast ray what it is, but yeah, to pretty much just generally describe it for no, for somebody that doesn't know what it is, it's pretty much just using like a macro or keybind to shoot your ray gun insanely fast. I
Mm.
don't know how much faster. I mean, I think it's literally like almost like 5 times the speed. It's probably even
It's
faster than that. It's insanely fast. You can literally shoot like if you had a non-papped ray gun, you can shoot all 20 bullets in less than a second. Whereas the normal ray gun, it would take a few seconds to get to actually empty the whole mag.
yeah, it's
So
very fast.
yeah. So it was first found in early 2020. So like almost a year ago, which is pretty
Mhm.
crazy. Um And so there's kind of like two huge cases of fast ray that a lot of people talk and debate about. A smaller instance being Furt's 240. Um, because for he did use fast ray in his game. However, he only used it for like 15 minutes, so it really wasn't that long. It's not like he saved an insane amount of time because 15 minutes is just really not much. It can be like a lot, but
Mhm.
in that like 100-hour game, it's not going to be an insane amount, but like people were saying, "Oh, he used fast ray." It's like what the fuck, dude. But also an insane case of fast ray and how OP it can be is in Chris Voltage's game. I butchered that Chris Voltage.
Mhm.
Um, he has around 100 on Nuketown, but he used fast ray the whole entire game, and that probably pushed it by a lot of rounds. I forgot what the Nuketown world record was. I want to say it was like 96 or something like that. I know it was in the high 90s, but it was not 100 yet.
He had him and Figsu both had a 96, but his 96 game was significantly faster than Figsu, I believe, but he had to end his 96 game because he got that glitch where if you like turn or walk in the same direction too long, like you can't look around anymore. Have you heard about that?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so he got that glitch because it's like 100 hours or whatever. It's an insane amount of hours just walking in circles shooting the ray gun. So he got that glitch and basically his game was over. He couldn't do anything about that. But yeah, the record before the 100 was a 96 by both of them.
Yeah. And then Chris Voltage. I mean, he didn't only use the ray gun. He also used it too as well in
Hmm.
Nuketown. So I would actually like love to know how much he used the too compared to like the ray gun. I mean, because like you kind of just like pick up like whatever you get first box. But, like I
Hmm.
wonder if he used ray gun more or Mark II more. But either way, he used faster the whole game and he was able to get 100 on Nuketown. And the thing is that I don't believe round 100 on Nuketown is possible without fast ray. I don't think it just like straight up isn't.
I think it is, but well, the reset on Nuketown is supposed to be like 180 hours, something like that. Not maybe not 180, but I
Oh,
know
really?
it's a long ass reset.
Oh, I thought it was something like a lot lower. I thought it was like a 130.
So keep in mind, like 100 on Town happened with no fast ray, and Nuketown, the early rounds are going to be slower, and the box moves more. Well, the box moves to more spots, so the trades will probably be slower. But if 100 on Nuketown, I mean on Town is possible, and the reset is significantly longer um, on Nuketown, then I think it's possible. It's just holy fuck, man. It takes so long. His
So long.
Do you remember what his 100 time was on the Nuketown 100?
He was at least 100 hours
Yeah, I think he was around
at least.
100 hours,
I think
somewhere
I
around
want
there.
to say like a 101, like 102 hours, like
Yeah.
on 100. So to put that into context, let's do some basic math real quick.
Hmm.
Every round on average took about an hour. That includes round one. Obviously, round one didn't take an hour, but that just like tells you like how insane it was. Like when like Chris Voltage would hop on and play the game, like let's say he plays for like 6 hours,
Hmm.
he's probably got like 2 rounds, maybe three.
It's
Like
insane, dude. Once you get into the 90s, those rounds are taking a couple hours. And
yeah,
like it's to kill one horde, it's like more than one ray gun, dude. It's so bad. Like you use your regular ray gun, then you use your papped ray gun, and you just killed like a couple zombies. And then you have to worry about the zombies bleeding out, and it's just ugh, playing with no fast ray. It's so long. All you're doing with fast ray is just reducing the time in between trades. So technically, if you think about it, fast ray is increasing the skill necessary for a game. Because if you have fast ray, that means you're shooting more ray gun shots. If you're shooting more ray gun shots, you're killing more zombies. So more zombies are going to spawn, and you're trading more. And that's the difficult part. If you're shooting a regular ray gun, it's slow. You're going to be killing the zombie slow. So maybe you're going to get one zombie spawning in at a time. So I think fast ray increases the skill necessary and just reduces all the BS time that's involved in a trade-based map like town or Nuketown or farm, any of the survival maps.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like yeah, it just pushes everything to, higher. It pushes the map to its fullest potential or very close to its fullest potential, which is just,
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't really see how you can argue against that. I know people do argue against fast rate, and we'll get into why they argue against fast rate, but I'm like, yeah, I have like the mindset of like, yeah, let's like push every map to its fullest, and just see like what like the highest possible round is.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, like I would like love to see, someone play a 180-hour game of Nuketown with fast ray. I mean, that's literally torture, but like, if someone wants to do it, I'd love to watch, like, seriously,
Jesus
just
Christ.
to see like what can be pushed to.
That is terrible, dude.
I don't know
God.
why you do that, but like, hey, if you want to, go for it.
Jesus, yeah. But, so I think we'll go into the pros and cons now because that kind of leads us into the pros and cons. There's a lot of controversy in the community with fast ray. Like we were
Hmm.
talking about toxicity in the zombies community last time. Like a big part of this toxicity is arguments like this. Like people either love fast ray or hate it, and people hate each other because of such a simple thing. So, um, so I'll go over the pros right now. So people are for fast ray. Here's a few reasons. It's in the game. So if you're double binding, all you're doing is changing your keybinds and you're able to shoot the ray gun faster. You're not like adding anything to the game, you're not modding. You're just changing your keybinds. And that's with double binding though. That's not with macro. Macro is a different story. And another argument is that on most maps, it doesn't affect the time too much. So on a map like Ascension, we were talking about with Furt and his 240, by using Fast Ray, you would only be using Fast Ray to around 70 while you're like camping power, 65 or 70. He saved his time about 15 minutes or so, he said, with Fast Ray. And on a map like Ascension, most likely that 15 minutes isn't going to make a difference. Like he was significantly more than 15 minutes into 240. So if he didn't use Fast Ray, hypothetically, he would have still gotten 240. But I mean, this kind of goes towards the cons or the pros, whatever you want. It does change some maps a lot. Like we said, the survival maps, it completely changes that. If Chris Voltage used Fast Ray on his 100 Nuketown, on his 100 town, it would probably be about 100 hours instead of 130 hours, or even less than 100 hours maybe. So you would save a solid 30 hours or even more just from using Fast Ray. And I would say that goes towards the pros, because on a survival map, there's really no skill in walking in circles and shooting your ray gun. Just speeding up the way the ray gun shoots isn't going to reduce the skill at all. So I think that's super important. And like Nick and I were talking about, it pushes the maps to their fullest potential. If there's something in the game that can help people play faster and doesn't reduce the skill necessary, why not use it? We want to see these maps be competitive. Like with Nuketown, like nobody wants to play Nuketown like 100 hours. Nobody wants to play Nuketown 50 hours. But if you add Fast Ray in there, you have more of an incentive. You have more of an incentive to play. You don't have to play 130 hours or whatever to get to round 100. You can play 30 hours less or something like that. And it just incentivizes people to play. It adds more competition, and it's just really important for these maps that are dead and were thought unbeatable. Now for speedruns or for high round games, there's more potential for them. They aren't unbeatable. There's new strats that can utilize fast ray. It's really interesting. And the last point for pros, everybody wants to play fast, and fast ray is faster. So that's always going to be a pro. All right,
Yep. And so we'll also get into some of the cons. At least I'll go. Uh One probably the biggest con is that console players cannot use fast ray as it's like a macro keybinds. It's not something just like it's built into the game, but in a certain way it's built into the game. Console players just can't do it. So for a console player, if you were gonna go for Nuketown World Record, like you just straight up cannot do it on console. You have to do it on a PC.
Mhm.
100%. And like yeah, for like survival maps like that, console players couldn't really go for world record. But we can also get into that a little bit more. Some people are against macros just in general, like you shouldn't be using macros, just use your fucking keyboard and your mouse just how it is.
Mhm.
Um some people view this as a con. It completely changes the way a map is played. We'll also get into that. Whether that's like a pro for con. Like for some people, that's a pro. Some people, that's a con. Some people just want the map to play, just kind of bland, and some people are like, fucking push this shit. Fucking push it. And lastly, non macro fast ray is much better with an infinite scroll mouse. So depending on what mouse you have, it is a lot easier to use fast ray compared to having another kind of mouse.
Mhm. Yeah, so you can still do fast ray without an infinite scroll mouse, but like I've tried it, I'm not very good at it. It's definitely more difficult to do it without an infinite scroll mouse. It's something to get used to, and it's not just an easy click a button and spam. It's there's a lot of shit going on, and while you're running a train or something and you're shooting it, it's a little bit difficult. So people with an infinite scroll mouse, they have a little bit of an advantage. I don't think that's valid enough of an argument to say, oh no,
Um,
fast ray isn't allowed because people with an infinite scroll mouse have an advantage. But those are all the pros and cons we could think of, and you guys can tell us in the comments what your opinion is with fast ray. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Do you just not give a fuck? Should it be allowed for world records? Should people be frowned upon for using it, and all that kind of stuff? So um, I think it's time now to get into the final verdict. Should it be allowed? Nick.
yes, it should be
Yes.
allowed. Push.
Why?
I view it as push these maps to their fullest potential.
Mm-hmm.
It does suck for console players, like you can't. But like here's like my biggest thing. A lot of like the world records, especially for these games like BO1, BO2, like you gotta play on PC. You like none of these fucking world record games are played on console. A lot of them were already played on PC.
Mm-hmm.
No fast rate or with fast rate, right? So it's just that's just another incentive to get a PC is that you can use fast rate.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, totally. We should be able to push everything to their fullest potential. We shouldn't have like limits. I mean, even just to like go off topic, but like I would probably like even like before like like almost like glitches and egg speedruns.
Mm-hmm.
Like just get the fastest time in an egg speedrun.
Yeah.
Same thing can go for high rounds. Like fucking allow everything. Just like as long as it's not like a fucking god mode glitch.
Yeah.
Like nothing fucking stupid like that. As long as like in the game in some way that doesn't fully break it, but more so benefits the game, like Fast Ray does. I believe it benefits the game. I think it should be allowed, 100%.
Okay. So for my final verdict, I think that it should be allowed in most situations. So I think so there's an issue in the Easter egg speedrunning community where high rounders were making decisions for Easter egg speedrunners. I think
Yep.
high rounders should make decisions about their maps that they play. And I think that first room players should make decisions about first rooms. So if first room players want to allow fast Gaver and fast M14, all that, they should allow it. If they don't, then they shouldn't. So I don't think it should be one decision. Fast ray, fast shooting is allowed. I think it should be a case by case basis. I don't really know how that will work, if they put out a vote or how everything will go, but I think that um, just to say fast ray should be allowed in general, that's a little bit difficult. I think it really depends on the map. But overall, yes, I do think fast race should be allowed, especially on a map like any of the BO2 survival maps. Those maps are dead and nobody plays them. And Fast Ray is allowing more people to play them and push the limits of the maps. So just I agree with Nick on that. I think these games, I think they should be pushed to the max. But it's just really difficult at this point because so many people are split on the topic, and I think it's highly unlikely that somebody that's fully against Fast Ray right now is going to change their mind and be for it. So we're going to be talking to, well, most likely next week. I've already reached out to him in Twitch chat, and then I sent him a Discord DM recently. Asked Zomba Live. I don't know if you guys know him. He's a really cool BO1 player. He plays a lot of Ascension. He has the 233 on Ascension, and he has the world record on Riese 2P. So he's a super nice guy, very knowledgeable, very skilled. So we're planning on having him on next week if he accepts. So we're going to be talking with him about Fast Ray a little bit, most likely, how he feels about it on Ascension, how he feels about it on Riese, and how he feels about it on the other games. Because I think Zomba has changed his opinions a bit on Fast Ray. I think initially he was for it, and then after that he became against it. I want to hear his arguments, why he liked it and why he disliked it, and maybe that'll help me change my opinion towards being against it, or Nick. But it'll just be nice to have some more perspectives for you guys and for us too. So I think this was a pretty successful podcast, man. It was some pretty interesting topics. But
Yeah.
we got really deep into BO1 this podcast. I think this was one of the first ones where we really got so deep onto it. I love BO1. And I'm trying to get Nick to start loving BO1, trying to force this man to go play some Riese, and play some Kino and all this stuff. I truly think BO1's the best zombies game of all time. We'll talk about that more next week, but yeah, this was definitely a good conversation because there's not a lot of podcasts in the zombies community talking about competitive zombies. A lot of podcasts are talking about more of the casual aspect of zombies, new content and stuff. But with our podcast, we really want to cater to all different parts of the community. Anywhere from World at War all the way to BO3, maybe BO4, fuck Cold War. But
Yo! We also like Cold War players. Shout out you guys.
Yeah, we want to cater to all the parts of the community. We don't just want to like focus on one part. And it's really interesting to get into these conversations about competitive zombies because it's really not been talked about much on the YouTube side. So I'm really happy to be doing this. Really happy that we have the ability to bring on a bunch of people with different perspectives. Got my boy Nick here. He's the legend. He's got some cool perspectives too. And it's just been it's been really fun, man. I've been loving the podcast so far.
Yep, same here.
Same here, man. Thank you, Nick, for that feedback. Very valuable.
Yeah, no problem. Very, very insightful. Put a lot of thought into it.
Yes. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I agree with all your points. Podcast's fun. It's also pretty different compared to most zombies podcasts. And for all of us giving love for doing zombies podcast, something that you enjoy, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. It's very heartwarming to read those messages. It's a very kind messages. So yeah, we appreciate you guys. Like Mike was saying, next week we'll have Zomba. We'll get a lot into just BO1 stuff. So if you guys are into that, hell yeah. We'll probably also talk about some just general zombie stuff. And I'm gonna tell you guys, the casuals I'm watching, I promise you can learn a fuck ton from Zomba. So even if you're not necessarily into like BO1 and competitive, I promise you will probably love that episode.
Yeah, Zomba's a really nice dude. Assuming he accepts our request to have him on the podcast.
Accepts our invite.
Imagine we were just talking about this shit and he says no.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Imagine we come on next week and says, what is going on, guys? We didn't get Zomba, but welcome back to podcast.
But yeah, he's a really nice dude. Very knowledgeable, very skilled, and we want to bridge that gap between competitive players and casuals. Like, you guys shouldn't hate each other. Casuals shouldn't frown upon the competitive community and vice versa. You know, we want the casuals and competitive players to be friends. We want them to learn about each other and just bring the community together, because we're not going to grow as a community if we're all so separate
We're
and
very split.
polarized.
We're
Yeah.
not, yeah, no, and like everyone's against each other. You know, you have casuals versus competitive players, XP versus high rounders. That doesn't benefit everyone. Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't. It probably doesn't benefit anyone like just in general. But
No, it doesn't. But yeah, well, we're hoping the SlowBroz podcast can bring the community together. If you guys have any suggestions, criticism, you guys want to come on the podcast, leave a comment. What?
if you want to come on the podcast,
What? If you're interested in coming on the podcast, leave a comment
yes.
down below, tweet at us, ask us on, don't ask us on stream, but tweet at us, Discord DM us, whatever, if you're interested. We're always open to having new people. We're always open to new perspectives and more content, boys. So thank you, everybody, once again. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to Nick's channel, subscribe to my channel. Follow us on all our social media, Twitter, Instagram, join our Discords. All the links are going to be down in the description. And we did start some SlowBroz social media accounts too. We have a Twitter and we have an Instagram. So make sure you guys go check that out too.
At
So,
SlowBroz podcast, dude.
yes, on Instagram and Twitter at SlowBroz podcast.
Yep.
But thanks, everybody. Had a good time today. Drop a like, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.